Someone once said failed relationships, still momentous, so inevitable. Not exactly necessary, is it? Someone once said that failed relationships, still fated, so inevitable. Not really necessary, true enough. Today is today, truly the greatest day of all. Ever since she was in the novel, she's been in love with the monster prince, or the monster prince for short. Today is the day, truly the greatest day. Ever since she got into the novella, she's in love with the monster prince, or if short, the monster prince. Dionel was called the monster prince because of his transformation from man to beast, after being cursed by the wicked witch Kalia. Dionel was called the monster prince because of his transformation from man to beast, after being cursed by the wicked witch of Kalia. Today is the day he will receive true love's kiss from the main character, and his curse will be broken. Today is the day he will receive true love's kiss from the main character, and his curse will be broken. She just wanted to secretly check that the curse was gone, and then go home. Like a good girl. She didn't want to cross him at all, because Dionel left her 13 years ago. It's been a while, how is he doing? The girl asks him. He asks her to let her look at him. Is it really because he's the main character? He's grown up to be such a handsome young man. He looked different when he was a child. Why? She abruptly remembered the past, what had just happened. The wounds he left in her heart when he left her. She can't change that. That's why it's necessary to leave quickly. She's already finished here, so she has to go. The heroine tried to leave, but the guy caught up with her, asking where she was going. Does she really want to leave him behind? Let him take him with her. He'll follow her to the ends of the earth. He asks her not to leave him again. The prince hugged the girl very tightly and wouldn't let go. She started to pull away, asking what he was saying. He's not the one who left her, but she said she would feed and love him till the end of time if he would do whatever she said. That's the only thing he's been thinking about since she left him. Let her finally love him. 14 years ago, she was in a Prince Monster novella. The same one she left negative comments about because of tons of cliches. Didn't even immediately realize what had happened, because when she looked in the mirror, she looked exactly like Daisy from the Prince Monster illustration. Dirty silver hair and cloudy blue eyes, but she looked much younger than Daisy from the illustration. Just like her. Daisy is the adopted daughter of the witch Kalia. They tortured Dionel together. What she means by torture? It's that Kalia kidnapped Dionel's young prince and cursed him. He turned from human to monster. Then she started using him for magical energy. After consuming poisonous plants, Dionel emitted more energy, so she fed him with them before extracting the sorceress power. Kalia always made Daisy feed him these plants. After that, Dionel would lose control and turn into a beast. Daisy couldn't go against Kalia, so she continued, giving him the poison, even though she was shaking with fear. No one ever thought that Dionel was a prince. After the curse, he lived all alone. Everyone had forgotten him. Every day he lived was marred by pain, but one day, by a stroke of fate, he met the main character. She wasn't afraid of Dionel, despite his appearance. She not only watched over him, but also carefully treated his wounds. This shown care and concern aroused deep appreciation in Dionel and touched him to his very soul. Under the influence of her kindness and devotion, he finally opened his heart, allowing her to enter the most hidden corners of his soul. So they fell in love with each other and later cemented their love with a kiss. That kiss broke Dionel's curse. He returned to the palace and became a prince. The first thing he did after that was execute Kalia. Of course, her daughter Daisy was killed too. But Daisy didn't do all this of her own volition. She was Coleus's own victim. Callie adopted her because she needed to learn how to extract magical energy from other people. She realized after she woke up in Daisy's body that she was finished. She wants her back. She wants to write angry comments again. Suddenly, a witch walks in on her saying she told her to be quiet. She's as beautiful as she was described in the novella, but there was no time to admire her beauty. Let her go, Ingyan prayed the girl, addressing her as her mother. The question of why she called her mom resounded in her words, creating a mysterious tinge in the air. Perhaps the unbelievable circumstances of the events had made her feel that the world they were in had lost its way, and now her own perception of reality had become rather strange. That's right, Kalia had never let Daisy call her mom. Daisy was just a toy in her hands for experimentation and manipulation. Now, in this moment of sincerity, she prayed for forgiveness, realizing her audacity in calling Kalia mom. It was more than just words, it was an act of humility and sincere remorse for her insolence against the witch. Then let her call her by her proper name. What should she call her? What Daisy called Kalia. I must think quickly. She's waiting. Maybe, ma'am. She's seriously mistaken. Kalia got angry and then the girl fainted. How much it hurt. What happened when she addressed the witch as Madame? A strong gust of wind appeared. She doesn't remember anything after that. I can't believe she lost consciousness. She can't believe she put a small child in such a state. It's too cruel. Daisy used to call Callie Miss Witch. I just remembered. What's the difference between Miss and Ma'am? Kalia walked in on Daisy, asking if she was awake at last. She seemed to be thinking more sensibly now. That's a relief. She should be called Miss Witch. She's going to the capital tonight. It's not like she's stupid enough to forget that. Anyway, let her hold. What it is, what she thinks it is, it's a poisonous plant. Make her remember to give it to that fool in the abandoned house. Just have her do it. She's going to see Gelfus today, but she's ruined her mood. Kalia's lover, Gelfus Viscon Orsenium. Gelfus is the son of the king's concubine from another country. He was born with little magical energy in Orsenium. The amount of magical energy determines the power a person can wield. So Gelfus was considered a useless crown prince. The crown prince, who no one cared about, became the perfect victim for a witch blinded by greed. 9 years ago, when Gelfus was 14, she deliberately set up Gelfus's injury in the woods. The boy didn't realize where he was or what had happened. Did he need help? A stranger asked him. That was Callie 9 years ago, and then pretended like it was an accident. Started taking care of him. He fell in love with her at first sight. He asks her to live with him in the palace. She loves him too, but she can't go with him because she's a witch. I'm sure he knows there's a witch hunt in Orsenium, but when he becomes emperor, she'll be in the palace. Right. He can't become emperor. He lacks magic. She'll try to find a way. Don't worry. If he does what she says, he can ascend to the throne. But then the empress got pregnant with Dionel, who had a lot of magical energy. He became a real headache for Callias. She wanted to absorb not only the magical power, but the entire empire. Using Gelfus, so she kidnapped Dionel right after he was born and turned him into a beast. Even though Kalia ordered her to poison the protagonist, she won't do it. After all, otherwise she will be executed. As in the original novel, she must befriend the protagonist and survive whatever it takes. It will take Kalia a few days to get back from the capital, so this is her chance. She'll meet the prince and become friends with him, but then she can't. Give him the poison. It will be easier if she feeds him. Is there anything here? She'll take this bag. Found some bread. It's old and hard, of course, but it's better than nothing. She has to get through them to get to Dionel. Is that even possible? These Cerberus and Kalia don't listen much. She can get through if she sprays them with poisonous perfume. But if she does that, Dionel will get hurt too. This perfume is made from the same poisonous plant. Animals hate the smell. Looks like she'll be dead before she even meets Dionel. Then spray just a little bit. She's almost there. Soon she will meet the main character. Abruptly, Daisy heard a Cerberus barking. Why is he barking at her? Where did he come from and started to run away? Due to her deep fear, she didn't even notice how she found herself falling right into the river. Now engulfed in water, she agonized over the thought of having her spirits washed away. Amidst the darkness and the cold waves, she prayed for help, not wanting to die. She didn't want to be consumed by a Cerberus without meeting a prince she didn't even know about. But who might have been her salvation? Did he really just lick her? What was going on? There was no way he just wanted to play with her, playing with him until he got tired. The boy appeared, telling the Cerberus that apparently this time he wanted to take advantage of this child. It won't work. He'll never get that far. Dionel spotted her and wanted to approach her, but suddenly a crow attacked him from behind and he had to fight back. In the end, the boy killed it. How annoying. A monster he can't even eat. By this time, Daisy had already woken up and noticed Dionel, saying he was so cool. Wow, impressive. It's all her fault. She swears she never did it of her own volition. The first thing she must do to survive is beg His Highness for forgiveness. She's so sorry. She doesn't even expect him to be able to forgive her. She asks him to give her a chance. And the second thing she has to do is offer him food. She brought it to him. I'm sure even in this world, a man who offers food is considered good. The prince didn't accept the gesture, telling her to put it away. This. She knew it might be a bit stale, but if you wash it down with water, it would still be fine. After all, he himself had told her to put that bread away. And yet, despite his request, she had brought that bread, caringly thinking that he might want to eat. Why he had resolutely thrown it away remained a mystery, leaving her puzzled and perhaps feeling a little resentful. That wasn't what he'd meant. She wanted it too, to eat, but she didn't, not even a crumb to give him. It was her own fault. Why would anything happen all of a sudden? He asked her to clean it up, but she wouldn't listen to him. He's not going to turn into a monster now. I think the novel said he turns into a monster when he gets nervous. She needs to run. He does turn into a monster. He's really pissed off that she brought the bread, but why would he tell her to run? She'd like to, but her legs won't move. Then Dianel turned into a monster and started to run at the heroine, but when she opened her eyes, she saw that it was just a child. He has such small fangs, she thought. She was afraid for nothing. However, as soon as she expressed her thoughts aloud, the animal suddenly bit her. In an instant, the girl's eyes filled with surprise and perhaps a bit of pain. She quickly took back her words, realizing that she may have been looking for trouble on her own head. Now, feeling the pain of the bite, he realized that even those with small fangs were not allowed to bite people. The animal let the girl go, terrified at what it had just done. After this incident, it seemed like they shouldn't have any problems in the future, but the girl couldn't help but notice that it had gotten as if it was bigger. The question of why swirled around in her head, leaving the mystery of how this strange change had happened. One thought ran through her mind. The angrier Dianel gets, the more ferocious the beast he becomes. Kalia and Daisy tormented him every time they saw him, so they always saw Dianel obeying ferocious animal instincts. Why she's only remembering this now? She doesn't know what she should do. Daisy attacked the animal with bread and knocked out all its teeth. The boy woke up on the floor wrapped in a blanket. It's warm. When was the last time he was this warm? He must be freezing. He finally woke up, realizing what she was doing here. Turns out she'd lit the fireplace, which he himself couldn't touch because of the curse. She had even covered him with a plaid to create coziness and warmth for him. Now he was not only warm physically, but also warm from her care and attention. Who was she, and why was she suddenly acting like they were friends? Enough of this pretense. It's not like that. Let her tell him the truth about what she wants from him. She doesn't want anything. Let her tell him now. He's got ears. We can't let him turn back into a panther. She's really here to help him. She's not going to mess with him anymore. That's suspicious. Let him just trust her. Let her tell him the truth about who she is. It's just Daisy, and she's actually hurting. Let him let her go. Dianel pushed the girl to the floor, and she fell. Make him apologize. Why would he apologize? She was horrible to him. But she helped him today. How can you bite the hand that gives him bread? I think she meant not biting the hand that feeds him so right. Besides, he never asked her for help. She decided to do it herself. He's right about everything. It's infuriating, but he could have thanked her. But he's not going to forget what happened before just because she helped him once. He's right. She's sorry, but she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to torture him. She had no choice. If she hadn't, the witch would have hurt her. So what? But she doesn't want to live like that anymore. She doesn't want other people to suffer because of her. She's realized that living like this is wrong. Plus, she realized that when she hurt him, she always ended up hurting him back. Her inner struggle made her decide to change, striving for a fairer and more harmonious life. She did this hoping the witch would love her, but it didn't work. She probably only keeps her alive because she's useful. But even when she begged her for forgiveness, the woman still beat her up. She wasn't killed. Calling her existence a life is impossible. It doesn't matter whether one is alive or dead. That was how Dianel had always thought of her life. So did Daisy. Kalia only found out Daisy was a Ludkul after she adopted her. Ludkuls are people born with a lot of magical energy or holy power, but they don't know how to use it. They're useless in the eyes of men, beings that can only be mocked. If no one treats them well, then Kalia would be even less so. But most importantly, Kalia brought Daisy home as a lab rat to learn how to extract magic from humans. Dianel couldn't have known that, especially since Daisy abused him, even though she was living a life just like his. It must have surprised him. I mean, he suffers for the same things. She's a liar. She's not. She's lying because she's in the same pain as he is. Does she think he'll fall for such a cheap trick? Like she thought. But now he knows she's in the same situation, so success is within reach. Tell her to get out now. She's good to go, but let him use that ointment later. Better get out of here before he turns into a beast. Daisy went to the Cerberus to ask if they were expecting her, and if they could take her back to the tower. Don't let him leave. Doesn't leave him alone. She's a witch's daughter. At least she's not living in an abandoned house like him. She probably has a lot of meds unlike him. But honestly, he was still glad to see her. It was the first time he'd ever had someone come over just to talk to him. It's all because of the fire. It's so warm he can't help but give in to it. It's the library. She always sat in the attic because Kalia was watching her. It's great to hang out here. And why can't Kalia just move to the capital? Kalia must really be the best witch in the Empire. She seems to study a lot and why she became a witch instead of a wizard. I mean, they're treated horribly. Found the basics of pharmacology. She knew there would be something like that here. Daisy can't use magic since she is of human descent, but her talents lie in making medicines. She has the confidence to create effective drugs and cure the prince of the curse that has been overshadowing him. What it is? Could it be the map? According to it, the tower is surrounded by fog, the source of the holy fairy in the novella. Was there something like that? Surely if she found the map, he can go on an adventure tonight. Callias isn't in the tower, so this is her chance to ask the Cerberus to come with her, to see if they got a good night's sleep, if they're not cold. Definitely need to give them names. How about this? From now on, they'll be called Cerberus and Russ. They've all got blood on their faces. They're all dirty. They usually hunt to eat. Then they can get meat for him and the prince. They're not. They're running. Don't let them hurt themselves. BR will stay with her. Good. Then she's ready to travel. Feels like an anime princess. What happened? Why did he stop? This looks like a campground. Someone must be staying here, but there's no one here right now. And why would anyone stop in the wild woods? Let him let her come down. He wants to look around. Maybe she'll find something useful. She starts running around the camp looking for finds. She'll take this and this. What a great find. Where he found this bag. What is this treasure he found? Well done. What a good boy. Perhaps we should give it to the crown prince. Thinks he could use it in the abandoned house. We should go see him. That's right. CR and Russ are probably done hunting by now. Now they'll go to the waterfall and get some water. As soon as the girl went in to see him, the boy told her to get out of here. Isn't that a bit much? He just saw her, and already he's turning into a beast. What's her motive this time? Let her calm down. Did he say something? What's he mumbling about? That's the ointment she gave him yesterday. Didn't use the ointment she gave him. She told him to put it on. Why is she scolding him? That little girl is telling him off. Let her give him her hand. What's she doing? See, he's hurt. He must apply the ointment. That'll make it go away quickly. What she's doing to him. She's doing something strange again. Let her see how fast it's gone. She's right. His hand is fine. Now he realizes she's not evil. It's a witch's ointment, so it's very effective. I can't believe she did this. Yeah, she stole that ointment from her. She couldn't give her something that good. She doesn't even care when she gets an infection. She can't believe she doesn't even treat it. So she's no different from him. It hasn't happened since she was in Daisy's body, but that was before. She could steal more, so let her use it, as much as he needs, and don't skimp. He doesn't want to use what that woman did. What a load of crap. It's precisely because the witch made this ointment that it should be used. Let him imagine how angry she will be when she finds out that the ones who stole and used her ointment of insanely expensive herbs were them. The people she hates the most, I'm sure they'll be furious. Good, then he would use up as much as he could. The prince just smiled, anticipating the opportunity to neutralize the effects of his curse. She has something for him. It's meat. They're having dinner tonight. She tried to drag him here. Right, she knew he'd like it. I'm sure he'll soon realize she's good because she feeds him. And something else she brought him, too. It's water. She collected it from the waterfall. So it's pure. Now she'll bring him lots of good food and clean water every day, and she'll light the fire so he won't be afraid. He doesn't trust her. But let him just wait and see what she can do for him. If he agrees. Does she know how to separate the antelope? And how is she going to make something delicious then, if he doesn't know that? But she can still bring him goodies. Does he really want to butcher her right here? I don't see how he can. They'll eat her. If she's scared, let her go play with the dogs, see if he needs help. I think she's discharging him. You could have been nicer. She brought a knife, too. She's got something else. Daisy turned around, but she saw the frightening scene and screamed, "It's so loud! Keep it down," so he told her to get out. Let it be quiet. He's got ears and a tail. He would turn back into a panther. Let him forgive her. She won't scream anymore. Well then, let it sit quietly. What Softail is so cool what she's doing. Let him forgive her. She didn't realize it herself. She's truly sorry. Why what she's done? It's all right. Let her calm down. The prince stroked her head in a soothing way. She said she brought something. Let her leave it here and wait outside. She managed to make friends with the main character. By the way, how does she manage to start a fire? The new friend didn't listen to him as she was looking at the meat, but afterward she came out of her musings and asked if he said anything. Dionel was upset at first, for she had not heard him, but then he asked her again, asked how she had ignited it. It's just that Cerberus can breathe fire. Russ has the weakest fire, so he helps her light the fireplace. She's better than him. He can't even start a fireplace because of the curse. She feels so sorry for him. Of all the spells Kalia put on him, the one that made his life as difficult as possible, so he can't start a fire. It will just go out. Dionel has to suffer all alone, in this cold, abandoned house. And how could Kalia put such a terrible curse on a child? Moreover, one of the spells doesn't even allow him to leave this place. Anyway, why does she keep calling him His Highness? He's a prince, but he's also a monster who turns into a beast. A prince is always a prince. It doesn't matter what he looks like. It doesn't change the fact that he's still himself. That sounded really deep. Right, whatever. He can't keep talking to a fool. She's not a fool. Let him put some wood in the fireplace. It looks like it's about to go out. He's only a 9-year-old boy who eats very little. Where does that strength come from? Come to think of it, how does he know how to butcher animals? It's finally ready. So she brought the antelope in just because she was hungry. Not true. She was just worried about him eating alone. She wanted to be close. Just kidding. We need to change the subject quickly. Anyway, food tastes better when you eat it with someone. That's the only reason she's here now. Thinks it would taste good even if he was alone. He laughed again. He smiles more often now. At what she's looking at, stop smiling and let her eat already. How rude. It'll burn if it's overcooked. The meat will get tough, that's why. Let him eat it soon. Let's give the Cerberus the kebab before it gets cold. She's so full, it's a real feast, isn't it? Great, he didn't like it. Why is he playing hard to get? It doesn't matter what she expects from a 9-year-old. You have to be patient. She's actually an adult, then she'll go. We need to go back to the tower to get him some more ointment. He doesn't need it. For some reason, he hoped she wouldn't leave. She's out of her mind. If she keeps talking nonsense, she should leave. She knew he'd say that. It was foolish to hope for anything else. She'll be back tomorrow. She'd see him again, she promised him. She didn't know then that an unkept promise would become a deep wound. Grateful to the Cerberus for bringing her home. She's content, eating meat at the Prince and Callias's place, not in the tower. This is the calmest day since she moved into Daisy's body. A voice came from behind her, asking where she had gone in such a beautiful cape. The voice belonged to a witch. Actually, if you look closely, it seems to have been made from the fabric of her dress. How talented she is. She just thought she was going to throw it away. She asked a question. Where did she go? Let her answer it now. Where did she get her red hair from? Callie has white hair with dark tips. She had black hair a few years ago, but she has lived as a witch for so long that her hair has worn down. However, her hair apparently turns blood red when she gets uncontrollable anger. It was a sign that she gave her blood to a fallen god, just to get more power. She reminds me of this from the original novel. Then she's so angry she's lost her mind. And why are there so many angry people in this novel? Aren't there any calm ones? She listens to her carefully and asks her one last time where she's been. Is it possible to doubt that she is a witch? She feels this sinister aura coming from the sword. She's been visiting His Majesty. She went to him to gather magical energy. She tore her dress to make a cape, and without her permission. It was on the floor and the rats ate it. It doesn't matter. Let him give her back the magical energy she had collected from him. She couldn't take it away. His Highness resisted too much. She thinks she'll believe it. She can't smell the poisonous flower on her. It seems she only learned how to lie more skillfully while she was in the capital. A naughty child who lies should be punished. Isn't that right? How many hours has Kalia been mocking her? Daisy, die hard. The witch must have beaten her a few times before she moved into this body. But she's still going to survive whatever it takes, only to fulfill her destiny of being killed by the protagonist. She seems to be in a very difficult situation. For what it is, smelling like cough syrup, it seems Kalia plans to let her live. Then again, she's sure it won't be difficult for her to die. She'll have no one to use as a test subject to entertain magical energy and feed the poisonous flower. Tastes like cough syrup from her world. What with her body unable to move, her fever only seemed to get worse. She thought it was medicine, but could it have been poison? But Kalia didn't kill Daisy in the original novel. She's not sure. Her eyelids are getting so heavy. She feels something terrible will happen if she passes out now. Come to think of it, she probably shouldn't have made that promise. She's sure he'll be waiting for her. That's how she really dies. Not at the hands of the protagonist, at the hands of a witch. She can't believe she's dying so pathetically, after she's transported into the body of the witch's daughter. Is the reasons she got into the story because the fact that she wrote negative comments about a bunch of cliches in the piece? Should she be punished by the realization of how hard it is to get around cliches during a written story? Suddenly a girl appeared next to her. Who is this? What is going on? All her equals disappeared. Did she heal her? For some reason she looks familiar. Does she know her? Anyway, grateful she saved her. She survived because of her. Can she please at least tell me her name? She was here a second ago and saved her life, and thank her for saving her. She so saved her with the antidote. Who she's thanking. How can she drink everything she gives her? And if there was poison in there? The irritating brat of Ludkelna. Does she know how much inconvenience her illness has caused her? She stood there like she was going to die, but she saved her. Now she should be more obedient, right? Of course, she's the one who made her sick in the first place. Let her do her assignment today. If she obeys her again, she won't just get off sick for a week. Don't worry, she remembered to take the perfume from the poisonous plant. Enough with the spraying, let her go. All right, she's on her way. She's already gotten pretty far. Kalia can't see her here now, right? She fell in a puddle on the way here to get rid of the perfume smell. Let them come out. Good work. They're very clever. They know how to pretend they don't know anything in front of Kalia. Her. That tickles. I wonder if they're trying to dry her out so she'll hurry up and get on his back. They're going to the prince. They know the way. She promised him she'd come the next day. But it's a week later. If he'd be angry with her. What if he waited for her all this time? No, he was mad at her and kicked her out every time she came. So he was probably glad she didn't show up. It's not fair. She's been sick for a week. How important a minor character like the witch's daughter can be to the main character. All he has to do is take care of the main character. She remembers who the lady is and sleeps. That's the main character of the monster Prince Selene. The Empire had a special rule, the main plot of a story. This rule stated that only imperial mages were allowed to practice medicine, so people think medicine. It's a type of magic that's only available to wizards. But for some reason, Selene had the power to cure any disease with a single touch. If any lady practiced medicine, not being a wizard, she was branded a witch, discussed behind her back and mocked in every way possible. Gradually, it became quite unbearable, and she went into the forest, and that was how Selene and Dionel were to meet. The protagonist who suffers the curses of the main character, who lives in hiding because of the branding of the witch, is such a cliché. They are already in place. Grateful, he hopes the prince is not too angry. What should she do if he suddenly decides to turn into a panther and attack her? He'll have to be ready to pick her up and run at any moment. She'll run away as fast as lightning. It's going to be okay, right? She doesn't think she can spray perfume. No, it's from that plant, isn't it? Daisy opens the door and asks in the dark how he's doing. Too dark, can't see anything. Seeing the prince in a fainted state, the girl ran to him. What's the matter? Let him wake up. Is he sick? Why is he so hot? What should she do? Let her wait a second. It's a good thing she took this just in case. Here's his medicine she brought him. This should help. If he remembers that witch's ointment, it'll help him heal faster too. She's a liar. She's not lying. It's true. The medicine. She didn't come. She said she would come and even promised. He was waiting for her. That's right. Dionel is still a child. Let him behave like an adult. He's only 9 years old. Let him forgive her and not cry. She thought only of saving herself. for Dianel is destined to be ruler. He is strong, but she forgot that Dianel is only a 9-year-old child. Don't let her go. Well, she won't go, and she'll stay with him. She'll be there until he wakes up. She's really not lying. Her eyes sparkled with sincerity, and her smile was real. So don't let him worry. Her intentions are supportive and loyal, and she's going to stay by his side no matter what happens. After a time, he woke up first and recalled the events of what had happened. Now he was not at all happy about her coming. He went on for a whole week. He even thought of going to the tower. He tried to get into the abandoned house to defy the curse, but he ended up getting sick. She doesn't want him to get sick. She's not going anywhere. But why won't he let go of her hand? She's the daughter of a witch. The wicked witch who locked him in here and tortured him daily. But she was the first one to light a fire for him and put ointment on his wounds. She's the only person who cared about his monster. She was the only one who cared about him. Okay, he would just forget about it this time. Daisy woke up too, saying that she ended up falling asleep too. Where did the prince go? She definitely remembers them holding hands. Whether she thought she saw Prince in the guise of a panther again. Let it become, why did he suddenly turn into a panther? What was there to be angry about? In a moment, he became human again. This is really him. And what does it look like? He can change his appearance whenever he wants. Then the curse was broken. How could that happen? She has no idea. On the other hand, if he did, he wouldn't be in that abandoned house. Sometimes he turns into a panther when alone or hungry, but he can quickly turn back into a human if that happens. Thinks he can control it. To some extent, except when apparently a witch is apparently torturing him. But why is he dressed up? She means he was definitely a naked panther just a moment ago. So how can he be clothed when he turned back into a human? Does she really want to see him naked or something? Come to think of it, Dianel was really handsome in Prince Monster. She's too small for that. Let her calm down. It's not like let her stop thinking about perversions and start a fire. It looks like it's going to get completely dark soon. This brat, and for her information, he's always dressed like this. When he returns to his human form, even if his clothes tear when he turns into a panther. So don't get your hopes up. I mean, she didn't say it like that, but it's weird. The witch won't look for her. She said to bring his maternal energy. But don't let it be misunderstood. She wasn't trying to hurt him. He was in pain a minute ago. That's why she gave him the medicine. He hurt more after he drank that poison. Right, it hurt like he was gonna die when he drank it. But now he's okay because he took that medicine. Of course he'll feel pain before the medicine takes effect. That's true, she took it recently too, so I'm sure. That's why she didn't come here, because she was sick. The witch realized she didn't bring hemotic energy, so she beat her up pretty badly. She was whimpering in pain, and she gave her this medicine, and she got sick right after she drank it. So she thought she'd poisoned her. But a few days later, she was totally fine. Feeling fine, even better than before. He doesn't feel bad anymore. That's right, it worked. Actually, it also healed his injured leg. That's right, in the original novel, he had a limp. He was supposed to be healed by the main character. It's okay that he's already healed. He really doesn't bother her. Why would he bring it up? He's a monster, and on top of that, he's ugly. He's disgusting to look at. And he used to have a limp. But despite all these physical anomalies, in her eyes, his essence becomes more important. What he's talking about, he's not ugly at all. How could he say that? He's actually very good looking. Then is he more handsome than the man in her novel? He's not talking about the prince from the novel, right? How could he know about him? Why is he talking about him all of a sudden? What the hell is this book? The beginning of that book was an introduction to medicine. He accidentally kicked her bag, and everything fell out of it. May he be forgiven for read it without permission, but he's the same way. What does he mean? Is he attractive like the men in the novel or not? Of course he is. They're no match for him at all. He's unbelievably handsome enough to make her drool. She wants to eat him. How stupid of her. Why did she have to say that? Why can he watch his tongue on it? She said that to a 9-year-old. Is it even normal for a child to talk about such things? She thought Prince Monster didn't have an age limit. Maybe because of their age, they can discuss things like that. She really wants to eat him. That's how it is. Dianel is kind of weird today. How can I put it? He seems more polite than usual. Then he can read this book too. He shouldn't read it. It's disgusting. If she's doing well. He thought she liked the book. She just likes him a lot more. He's better looking. A much better character in this book. So she doesn't need her. What she's gonna say. We need to change the subject quickly. To ask someone like that. There it is. How he was able to cut the meat like that. He's done it before. It just comes out on its own. Probably because he's an animal, it comes out instinctively. Thinks he's gotten used to the transformation lately. He's intuitive about these things, and he's more in control of that information, as she might have noticed. He said it seems to happen when he's not being tortured. True, he can turn into a beast when she's around, but he can't go back to human form. He's turned into a panther before. He passed out in the end. Why is he only telling her this now? It's wonderful. She's gotten a great idea. But what kind of idea is it? Next time that old woman, witch, comes, have him turn into a panther again and teach her a lesson. She has a cunning plan to use his own powers against the witch. He must get rid of her so she won't torment him anymore. She will try to steal her poisonous plants, from which she makes perfume. He can defeat her if he's without them. Does she really think it's that simple? Of course he can handle her in a blink of an eye because he's the protagonist. But why does she keep calling her a witch? Maybe she should call her by her first name. Then what should she call her? Let him wait. Where did he learn such words? She thought he grew up alone in that abandoned house all his life. Who taught him those swear words? He was just kidding. He was just kidding. Why is he so scary when he jokes? He's really weird today. He's not the Dianelle she's been hanging out with all this time. She can't believe he's changed so quickly. Why, Cerberus suddenly barked. Where's that smell coming from? It's her. Callia's here. We have to hurry. What he's doing. Have her run after him. They're going to find out. Where is she, sweet Daisy? I wonder where her daughter is. Since when does she think she's her daughter? I hope he doesn't misunderstand Callia calling her that. Did she start the fire? I think she raised a rat instead of a daughter. She knows she's here. Let her come out now if she doesn't want to die. She's so scared, but she's the only one who can protect Dianel. She has to protect him. Just the other day, she told Dianel he could win. But that's not realistic. They need a plan. If Callia's poisonous spirits can't handle her, so she has to make the first move. She can handle it. She'll take care of it. So let her stay here. She'll be fine. Let her think about herself and hide here until she leaves. It's okay. She's not scared at all. There she is. She's not scared at all. We should reward her for her courage. The witch used the spark on her with one wave of her hand. After this incident, Dianel saw that the whole apartment was a bit of a wreck. Daisy's hurt because of him. What he's done and all for a monster like him? He must save Daisy. He must help her. He must protect her. The woman threw a sparkler at the boy, and then again. With each blow, Dianel began to turn into an animal, and then he became fierce. 2 weeks later. Let her look around. She doesn't eat grass. That crazy bastard. She's like a bunny to him. Why would she eat bristlebrush he just picked? She's so boring. What's going on? How do you stop it? What he's doing here again? She told him to stop making trouble. Let him apologize. Let him kiss her and not get mad. I wish she hadn't seen it. He can't contain himself after that much magical energy. This monster's magical energy has increased a lot lately. His energy can completely fill a man, and soon he'll turn into a beast forever. The more often he turns into a beast, the more pure magical energy he releases. Then he'll start emitting black magical energy, instead of the dark red energy that it is now. Everyone probably has a question. Why does Gelfus love Callia? Even though she saved him, Callia is a witch being hunted, and Gelfus is a member of the royal family. There's one reason why Gelfus fell in love with Coleus. It's because she put a spell on him. Callia used magic to make him always love her, even if he realizes who she really is, and later explained to him how to become king. And that way was that they would brainwash the queen. Make her think she wanted to drink the honey of the dawn flower that grows in an abandoned forest. What would happen if he did? Let him not play the fool. His Majesty won't just watch his beloved carrying his child wither from day to day, because she'll only eat honey. He will have to make crucial decisions before him, for caring for his beloved's life and health becomes a key task. As Callia tells her, the king sets off with his men into an abandoned forest to retrieve the Flower of Dawn. Along the way, his troop came across a landslide. This place was already cursed by Callia, so no one could use magic here. In the end, there was nothing the king could do to prevent his death. The queen was so shocked by his death that she went into premature labor. Her son died. The midwife who bribed Callias lied that Dianel had died and disappeared with him. That's how Dianel was kidnapped. He was used to infuse Gelfus with magical energy. Since the queen has no son, Gelfus's chances of becoming the next king are greatly increased. But it's so strange. The amount of magical energy is determined at birth as magical energy. Gelfus can grow every day. The queen became suspicious of Gelfus. She learned everything about the people around him, and from the midwife in the process. The midwife died suddenly. However, he found her diary. Let him keep it and go. What the hell? Kalia and Prince Gelfus persuaded her to help them in the kidnapping. Then where's her baby? If she throws them in the dungeon, will she be able to get her baby back? But if something happens to him because she acted rashly, what will she do? Maybe she would find some mild reason to imprison them. She wondered what she would do with her vassals, for surely they would start accusing her of controlling the crown prince. A difficult dilemma arises: maintain her power, but risk damping down the incipient conflict among the vassals. She must do whatever it takes to prevent Gelfus from becoming king. She can do no better. She may have the daunting task of preventing Gelfus from ascending to the throne, and she will have to take action to keep the balance in the kingdom. I don't care how. But she'll make him king. If they succeed, her research won't be in vain. It's about researching the creation of the Heartstone. If it succeeds, it's only a matter of time before he's king. Doesn't he want to contribute to the research? He's been giving her money recently. It's about that handful of coins. She told him clearly it's very important research. If it goes wrong, she'll have to start over. What an easy way to say her trial failed. He understood. Don't let him get mad at her. She didn't think he'd be sorry to spend money on her. She can't just stand by and watch Gelfus become king. She has to make sure he doesn't. That's all. She hasn't found those people yet. He means that bunch of fools who tried to kill her. Of course she killed them all. She killed people. Let him forgive her. He knows. They were supposed to meet in the capital, but those scum crossed the barrier built around the forest. No one can get in here. As long as Dianel's here, he said they're camped near here. Hopefully after that fire, people wouldn't come here anymore. When she killed them, she cast a weathering spell on the camp to make it look old and abandoned. How she's so easy to talk about killing people. She's sure she'll get away with it. What's the old camp? It's the one she picked up the stuff from earlier. So that's why Kalia returned early that day on her way to the capital. She realized the group had crossed the barrier, so she went back to the tower before she was supposed to. That's why she was so angry, because she made a cloak out of her dress. She's so smart. That's the truth. She could have been a detective. Has she seen the book on pharmacology? Why does he ask? Because she gave it to him. He also put an ancient map in it. It's probably in her library. He hasn't looked for it yet. It's not there. He hasn't read it yet. He hasn't read it yet. It's about that book. She doesn't know anything. She'll sit tight. How does she know where that book is? It should be there. He said it's not there. Why is he acting like this over a normal book? She's getting him a new one. It's not just a novel. It's an art form. He must have said too much. He's been reading that vulgar novel again. Of course not. That novel belongs to Gelfus, what she told him. Because he sits and reads such novels, he can't fill his heart of stone. Why is she talking about it? Now it reminds him of kisses. Kisses are more important to him than a heart of stone. Anyway, he seriously hid that Vulcan novel in her library. Let him say what to say where he put it. He doesn't know. He didn't do anything and he didn't hide it. He's going to go check on Dianel. Why does she feel like she's about to take out all her anger on her? It's been a long time since she's run an errand right. She's out of the poisonous plants she used to make perfume. She's out of poisonous plants. Maybe she can get a Cerberus. She didn't run out of perfume. Of course not. She said she ran out of ingredients. Prince Gelfus used the last of them. She's not listening to her. She said she had nothing. What about the Cerberus? Let her use them as she pleases. They can eat her if she's not careful. Of course she won't care. She can't believe it. She's so lucky. This is her chance. Let her wait a while. Daisy's on her way. She's grateful to him. Now she's got to hide somewhere. She's gone to Dianel's, under the pretense of going to collect a poisonous plant, and it turns out she's out of perfume. That's lucky. But look at him. It's that idiot. He's not much of a man. He's just a filthy, filthy beast. Gelfus can't do anything without magical energy. How dare he, you fool, what he's doing? She should have given him more. Kalia said the spirits Gelfus took were the last. If she didn't lie, it's a great chance to attack Gelfus, but Kalia will come right back if she does that. where the stone came from. Gelfus dropped the spirits. I have to get rid of Gelfus. Diana will be able to attack him if she takes the perfume. So humiliate herself in front of the animal. She grabbed them. She really grabbed them. What is she doing? Who would doubt they're a couple if he looks exactly like Kalia when he's angry? Let her give it to him. If it were her, he'd give it to the old people, someone she just called an old person. What she's doing. And he knew that the broken perfume was the last one. He knows what that means. I guess Kalia was right. How dare he bare his fangs at him? She seems to have forgotten something. He's full of magical energy, and he can take them on in a heartbeat. And they've long since realized that she's siding with this animal. He's just trying to scare her. Don't lie. There's no way the witch would have sent her here if she knew she was on his side of the prince. He told her to do it, and convinced her they needed hard evidence, her friendship with him. And if they're discovered by the royal expedition, they'll turn her in as a criminal. He's going to attack him now, right? He really doesn't care about her. Now let her bow down to him. I'd like to see her corpse. What's wrong with them? Why are they running here? His scepter is without magic. So without scepters, he can't use it. That means now Gelfus is completely disarmed. Did she do that? She's sick the Cerberus. What's he talking about? Why is she playing dumb? Don't let her go near him. He'd better not move in there. Why is that what it is? Let her forgive him. It won't happen again. They're like brothers. Please. He finally feels what it's like. He remembers her betrayal. Let him remember that they're bigger than her. Let him get up. Dianel turned back. That means why he turned human, because he's convinced she's on his side. So now he trusts her. Let him get up quickly so the proverbial don't bite the hand that feeds him finally fits. Can he let go of her hand, of course? He's now defeated Prince Gelfus, but there's hardly any wounds on his body. He's already dizzy. Even if he's injured in animal form, when he turns back, he'll be fine. That's amazing. Turns out he can change shape whenever he wants, so he doesn't have any wounds. Isn't that weird? There was nothing like that in Prince Monster. Or she flipped through it. She didn't see anything else. It's not weird. He can leave the house now. He already told her. She's so excited, it's too much. Wasn't he always this tall? She's so excited, it's like he's grown up. She realized they had to do it, to get revenge. The witch no longer has poisonous plants, and now he can go outside the house. He won't have to wait for his release if he gets rid of Callius. The witch's daughter will soon break the curse on the protagonist. She feels they're rats. They're finally here. Traces of makeup. Kalia was crying, shouldn't have assigned her to this case. But she shouldn't have brought Ludkelna here in the first place. Nothing would have happened. How did she know what Dianel had done to Gelfus? She put a curse on Prince Dianel. Did she forget that her mother is a witch? She put a spell on him so he can't destroy her. She can also track his movements, which is how she found out what they did to Prince Gelfus. Does she think he can understand her pain? She has no idea what it's like to have a plan fail just one step away from success, and how much it hurts to stand there powerless and watch it. It's like poisonous herbs. I thought for sure she said they were out. How does she even know what was going through her head when she ran out to collect the poisonous herbs after losing them? She was thinking about how to kill her as painfully as possible to avenge the prince and get even with her for ruining the plan. What should she do? She thought they could defeat Callius. She was so wrong, she can't do anything. What is he doing? They need to escape, but where to? They don't think they can escape. They think they can stand up to her. Let her come here while she's still holding back. We need a safe place and fast. She thinks she's one step closer to her. She can run away all she wants, but she's still the witch's daughter. He'll take them to the safe house, but it just seems to be getting darker. She's too slow. Why is she becoming? This place doesn't look safe at all. She's ruined everything. Let her look at him. He'll protect her. He'll never send her anywhere alone again. Don't let her cry. She'll protect him too. She's the only one who can protect Dianel now. She has to do everything she can to defeat Callius. And then it's safe to wait for the main character to break the curse. Daisy shouted that they wouldn't let her do whatever she wanted. Callius smirked, saying that, of course she's not entirely wrong, because she's going to kill them both here and now. Has no idea how Dianel broke the curse and escaped from the shack. But this is the end for them. The girl told the Cerberus that it was time for them to run away, but the animal wouldn't move. What Kalia did to the Cerberus? The prince brought her out of her thoughts, telling her to get a grip. Getting out of here is their main task. Suddenly the witch started attacking them, using chains. asking where they were going when she was right in front of them. The only thing the kids could do was dodge. They were scared. But when they opened their eyes, they saw that the witch's attack hadn't reached them, and there was a magic dome in front of them. Daisy asked if he had done it. The woman didn't understand what it was either. A girl climbed out of the lake and said hello to everyone. Saying it was a lovely afternoon, she thought she felt her sweet dogs nearby. But as it turns out, there are some adorable angels here too. Why her angels are so scared, she seems to know. It must be because of that witch over there. Kalia started yelling for them to come over here right away, but the fairy told them not to worry. She's the great fairy, and her source is a safe place. Bad people can't come here. Cerberus walked up to the fairy and the girl started stroking them, asking how they were doing. Did she know the Cerberus, of course? She takes care of them from time to time. That's why they knew it was a safe place. But it didn't look that way when she first came here. That's because she didn't trust her then. She's the girl adopted by the witch, but now she trusts her. Cerberus told her about her every day. He told her he found a sweet little mistress. She's the little mistress, isn't she? That's right, and he must be the cursed Dianel. His curse is so complicated. Unfortunately, even she will have trouble breaking it. Kalia asked how dare he look down on her, great Kalia. Tell him to come here now. The fairy began to reassure the children, telling them not to worry. They're safe here. There will always be a safe harbor for good children like them. She can't get rid of that witch, but she can protect them for as long as they need. All they have to do is stay here. It's just a paradise for the children. The milk here never runs out. A warm place in paradise with plenty of food. But they need to get out of here, Daisy screamed. The fairy asked, why do they need to? They'll be comfortable here. They don't want to be trapped again. Daisy's right. They should leave. Well, then she has no choice. People are so amazing. They reject comfort and go on adventures again. But don't let them worry. She will help them throughout their journey. Let them take this pouch. But why is she helping them? She's grateful they played with her dogs. She was touched by the way they tried to protect each other. But she can't kill that witch for them. A great fairy can't do that. Dianel asked if it would be okay if they defeated her with her help. Of course it could. Then let her help them use magic. But they already have magic energy, don't they? That's right, but it's human. Is that true? Yes, that's why she can't use magic even with magic energy. Now I see, and he's human too. He doesn't think so. He seems to use a little magic energy when he turns into a beast. So they both have magic energy. But she can't help them use magic right away just because they ask. However, she can set aside her magic for them. Is it possible that she is serious now? Of course she will put her magic a magic item that they can use, but they can only use it for 10 minutes, which is definitely enough. If they have the power to oppose Callias for even a moment, there's hope. Well, then let them turn that way for a while. I wonder why. The witch shouted for them to come out now, from there trying to break through the dome, not realizing what was happening. In a moment, they didn't notice how grown up they were and looked at each other dumbfounded, not recognizing each other. His face had changed so much. She made them bigger for a while, so she shrank. You can't use magic items properly in a child's body. But it's only temporary. They'll go back to the way they were when she runs out of magic. The two of them will become handsome young men. One day, that's what they'll look like. She'd seen the prince like that in the illustrations of the novel, but she was curious about Daisy's face. It didn't look like that. Daisy walked over to the lake to see her reflection. Daisy was described as ugly in the prince's monster. Then what kind of cute bunny does she see in her reflection? Dianel came up to her and told her they should go. Suddenly they have seals on their hands. What are magic circles? They're circles that keep track of how long they can use magic. And let them use these items. The magic circle will disappear every 2 minutes. There's 5 of them in total, so they'll have 10 minutes. That's all she can do. Be careful not to get hurt. Of course, they'll be back soon. The guys came out of the protective dome right in front of the witch who was standing in front of them. Doesn't know what kind of trick they pulled to change their appearance. But that doesn't change the fact that they're useless trash. The woman attacked them, but the prince fought her off with his sword. How did he block her attack? She put poison on the chain. They can't be blocked. Is his curse already broken? Does she think his body getting bigger changes anything? She thinks it's the only thing that's changed. They have more weapons than she thinks, so they're not afraid of her at all. Daisy's just a human being. How dare she? Gradually, the woman began to disappear before their eyes. What happened? She's gone. They underestimated her. He had no idea she could erase all signs of her presence. What do they do now? How do they find her? Suddenly, there was a voice saying they should go to the waterfall. Daisy turned around to see who it was. Cerberus was running towards them, saying that the great fairy had told them to go to the waterfall. Since when can he talk? It doesn't matter now. They have to hurry after him. 2 minutes have already passed. They need to get to the waterfall. Hurry before time runs out. What's she talking about? The great fairy told him they had to go there. Diurnal climbed on Cerberus and asked if she understood what Cerberus was saying. Of course she did. It must be because of the magic and the great fairy. When Daisy wanted to climb on him, there was an explosion from behind. She was so surprised that she didn't realize she had fallen, but the guy didn't catch her after asking if she was okay. Kalia is hiding, but she's still hunting them. What should she do? She put her magic in an object they can use. That's what the great fairy told them. Kalia shouted out where they were going. Daisy pointed her magic object, asking it to do something. A stream of fire came out of it and went straight at the witch, hitting her. The witch got angry, saying that she seemed to have forgotten her place. She would never forgive her and pointed her magic spikes at them. Diurnal reacted quickly and told her to duck. Fourth circle, 6 minutes left. She must defeat Callias in 6 minutes. It's a waterfall finally in place. What will they do next? This is the end of her future. The end of her chance to be a princess. They've ruined everything. Do they know how desperately she wanted to be crown princess? Then empress. Do they have any idea how much torture she endured while playing love with that vile man? The girl shouted, "What will try to block her attack, and please let her subject do something again. He'll help her. They'll do it together." When the attack was close, the guys used their powers together, and a magical dome appeared to protect them. They made it create a shield, but Kalia will destroy them if they just block. She'll be the bait to lure Callie to the edge of the falls. Let him use this opportunity to escape. What is she saying? He won't do it, but he has to. They really don't have much time left. It's better to be the kind of person used to using magic. She's only human, so she can't even use a magic item properly. If they split up, Kalia will think she's sacrificing herself to protect him. Surely she'll weaken his defenses a bit. Let him attack her when he does. All right, then let her distract her. Let her not worry about her for a while longer. We need to distract the witch as much as possible before she realizes Diurnal's trying to attack her instead of escape. Apparently, the brat hasn't changed a bit, and she has to hurry, as time is running out. Daisy decides to try to escape again, exiting the protective dome and rushing away. She realizes that her only plan is to escape, and that she needs to buy time until Diurnal arrives. She doesn't let the great fairy lead her by the nose and realizes the pointlessness of her previous plan. She sees that the prince she was so determined to protect is still there. Her plan fails, and she is left as a test subject. The witch begins to approach, telling Daisy that the rat that bit its master is dying. Suddenly, the girl is pierced by a terrible pain, and she starts coughing up blood. Diurnal intervenes, impaling her with his sword. The woman falls, and thanks to the herb, a change takes place in their bodies again. They turn back into children. Poisonous herbs they need to be removed immediately. Didn't even hear him come up. Once back in her childlike form, Kalia begins to age, and Daisy realizes that she used magic to appear young. Instead of giving up, the witch tries to attack them, but Cerberus intervenes by grabbing her leg. He's a lot smarter than she thinks. What's wrong with her face? Thinks she's back to her real age. She used magic, didn't she, to look young? Why is she suddenly laughing? Do they think she's just gonna die like that? Kalia's skin was beginning to age, and she wanted to get up again to attack them, but Cerberus was already running at her from behind. Grabbing her leg, Kalia screamed for them to let her go. She should have created them in the first place. They wouldn't even recognize their true master. She would show them what happens to such a brat. Daisy started to get worried about the Cerberus and wanted to run towards them, but Diurnal stopped her, saying it was too dangerous. She could get hurt. At that moment, she realized what Cerberus was telling her. He was saying he was fine and, "Don't let her worry about him." Callias and Cerberus had another fight. The animal grabbed the girl's arm, dragging her across the grass, and started running toward the cliff, and then jumped down, not letting go of the witch. Daisy was very frightened and started screaming, worried. After the incident, they came back. The girl cried so hard she couldn't believe he was dead. Jumped off a cliff, dragging Callie with him. It's all her fault. He wouldn't have died. She had the strength to get rid of Callias herself. Dionel comforted the girl, said he chose to save her. He chose her over his mistress, Callias's creator. He truly considered her his friend, so he wanted to help her. But she wasn't even capable of getting revenge on someone properly. It was a first for her, trying to get revenge on someone and fighting Callias. She's never faced anything like this before. How could she be good at something she had never done before? Suddenly, the animal stopped, starting to bark. I think there's someone out there. Get Daisy to see what it is now. It's the Cerro in front of them. The great fairy appeared, delighted to see them back. Daisy jumped off, starting to run to her pet, asking if it was really him. But Dionel ran after her and took her in his arms. Said it was dangerous for Daisy, if he overdid it. Oh, great. Now they can cuddle. What did he just do, trying to protect her? What happened to him? She already thought he was dead. He's fine, really, he's fine. He just talked. What a sweet connection. She actually foresaw the future. When they went to fight Callia, she saw the Cerberus sacrificing himself for her. So she pulled out her hair to help him. So she linked him to her so he'd be easy to find. Then it turns out he's really alive. No, he's dead. He's here, only because she shared her energy with him. He realizes if Cerro leaves this place, he'll die, right? Yes, he's right. Once he leaves here, he won't be able to move. But he'll live as long as he stays here. He'll just be restricted in his movements. She could have told him beforehand, couldn't she? The traveler realizes that while they may not be able to defeat the witch, she is given the opportunity to prevent death. She realizes the complexity of her situation and supports the great fairy's decision. The animal, seeing her dejected state, begins to comfort her, promising that it is alive. This brings some relief, and she is told not to cry. In response, she expresses her love for the creature, receiving reciprocation. She considers herself useless and easily traumatized, even when using magical items. Daisy reveals her soul to the great fairy and Dionel, describing her condition. In response, the great fairy informs her that although she cannot use magical energy, she still has knowledge that can be used. When Daisy subsequently brings many books from the library and begins to study them, the fairy emerges from the lake to greet the girl. Noticing her diligence, Fairy is proud of her and wonders what she is going to do with the knowledge she has gained about pharmacology from the books, and Dionel expresses her thoughts on the matter. Fairy realizes that she needs to provide for her living. She personifies the protagonist of the novel, and according to the original plot, she should have died long ago. She reveals to Dionel her plans to use the knowledge she has gained about pharmacology, and explains how she plans to use it in the future. She feels that this knowledge will be useful to her in the future, perhaps for self-sufficiency. The traveler states that the medicines created by the witches are very valuable, and perhaps she can make a fortune selling these items. The great fairy is struck by this idea and is impressed that a witch could get so far in her thinking by offering her blood as a sacrifice to a fallen god. Dionel announces his intention to go hunting, taking with him the sword he borrowed when he picked up the books. This sword was part of his hunting plan, though the question arises as to why Dionel chooses to use a sword instead of his magic, bearing in mind his extensive magical abilities. The suspicion is that magic causes him fear, and perhaps this is due to a curse that may have altered his perception of his magical energy. This fact causes some wistfulness, as Dionel would be virtually invulnerable if he mastered magic. The traveler from another world observes this with a distant sadness, wondering about the reasons for his fear of magic. The magical energy and the beast energy in his body may have become incompatible due to the curse, creating this fear. She recalls that she had known about magic causing Dionel's fear from the moment he came to this world. However, having come here of her own volition, she wonders what exactly she came here for. Perhaps her purpose is to right some of her own wrongs that she cannot fully remind herself of. The traveler's next thought leads her to the idea that perhaps her coming to this world is due to some mistakes she made. She begins to ponder whether her decision to write a negative review of the monster prince was the reason for her arrival in this world. She considers the possibility of correcting her mistakes and fulfilling her supposed purpose as a way to get back out there. She expresses her desire to return to her world, at which point Dianel, who was standing behind her, hears her talking. Wondering what the conversation is about, he asks where she wants to go, causing the traveler to stare in amazement. Surprised that he returned so quickly, and once here, he begins to find out exactly where she is going to go. She asks him to let her go, and he responds by demanding an explanation, stopping her. Offering the possibility of an apology and peaceful resolution, he suggests that they should have eaten, as they are probably hungry. However, when Daisy offers the fish to the prince, he rejects it. She realizes that he is only a child, yet he must be hungry. This all happens as she prepares to leave, and he demands an explanation on her plans. Asking if he can go with her, he encounters resistance as the traveler considers it unacceptable, claiming that he should have his own happy ending with the protagonist in this world. Confused, the prince tries to understand why she decided to leave so quickly and begs her not to leave him.